Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very nifty news when it comes to more PlayStation Studios. Now, as you guys probably know, we've been kind of doing a really big in-depth coverage of the PlayStation 5 Pro, and this one is probably one of the cooler things I've had a chance to go and see. Now, as we get closer and closer towards the PlayStation 5 Pro launch, we're seeing these big developments and like these big kind of leaks and like kind of the stories behind how they change things, what they're changing, and the overall, I guess, like design aspects of how the internal game industry works when it comes to launching new consoles and launching these brand new things. And right now, basically the Horizon devs have worked miracles, and it kind of goes to show on how like extensive and how hardcore some of these jobs can be when it comes to working on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and also the night and day differences some of these things can go and produce. Now, I've been on the big proponent, if you guys watch my videos, of I think the console's going great. I think the brand new stuff coming out's cool. I think the like before and afters are great, and right now we're having a chance now to also go and see some insane improvements for Horizon Zero Dawn and the remaster, and also the PlayStation 5 and Pro improvements. So I'm gonna go just talk about this and show it off, because I do think this is something that the devs should be proud of, and it kind of makes me excited for the future of gaming too as a whole. And as well, we've been seeing a lot of like these small improvements for like PlayStation 5 games to PlayStation 5 Pro, which is still, depending on some people are saying it's not as big of an improvement, or it's only marginal, or only see like the ray tracing and lighting, who kind of cares? Completely valid, totally get it. But we've also now been seeing the slow, I guess, improvements of the older gen games. So think Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2, where they both are maybe, some of them maybe slightly more on the dated side with bigger graphical jumps. And as well, for this one, we're going to show throughout this video with pictures and such, Horizon Zero Dawn to the remaster to the PS5 Pro, where it actually does go and have a very night and day difference when it comes to the game itself as a whole. So if you guys will enjoy it as we talk about it, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as we're on our 69,000 sub goal for before the end of the year. And as well, make sure you guys are subscribed for the PS5 Pro giveaway with the 2 YouTubes, the Twitters, and Twitch down below for bonus entries. Also, don't forget, if you want to pick up a PS5 Pro with all the affiliate links down below. And without further ado, let's go dive into the video. So this is kind of a fun one, where we're seeing now some of the older games, such as Horizon Zero Dawn, which are still popular games, like don't ever get me wrong, and they had a chance now to go and, well, apparently put 30 PlayStation 5 dev kits to just have to go and do these fine tunes and even just lighting effects for every single night. This is crazy. This is cool. And I have to go once again put a lot of respect on the people that are working and making these brand new games. These are not easy feats, and as well, it's just almost a labor of love, I would say. So major shout out to all the PlayStation devs out there and everyone working on trying to get PlayStation 5 games, and as well just the overall remaster remakes too as well. Or they basically, like I said, they had to put together bajillions of PS5 Pros to make it happen. Guerrilla Games studio director John Bart Von Beek has shed more light on how the team got the Horizon Zero Dawn remastered ready for release. Notably, on this one too, this includes hooking up more than 30 PlayStation 5 developer kits, special versions of Sony's console designed to be used for developers to explore the game's large open world map each evening in order to make sure everything looked right. The detail comes from a conversation between Van Beek and Horizon fan on social media platform X, after the latter shared an impressively brightened screenshot from the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster alongside a noticeably duller image from the original as a comparison. So I want to go and highlight this too. So I'm going to mention the PS5 Pro, but I'm also going to mention the normal PS5, because this is kind of what the devs are doing. As we've kind of mentioned before, this is kind of like crunch hour. So we're seeing these PlayStation 5s, and as well as also PlayStation dev kits. As you guys probably know, there is also PlayStation 5 Pro dev kits too as well. And we're just seeing like these companies, such as even Alan Wake, things like No Man's Sky, all these other various games, I'm sure we'll see other stuff too, like Hogwarts Legacy and these other various games that are just taking the world by storm, grinding this stuff on out instantaneously, and they're working night and day to optimize all stuff on out. And this is why it's cool. So whether it's a PS5 Pro or PS5, it's just cool to go and see the overall impact that these devs are making, because we're seeing like the improvements on AI integration. Some people are adding brand new assets. People are having a chance to go and expand out their consoles even more, and this is a perfect example of like the quality of love that the developers put on in. So basically, they're seeing over here too, they had a chance to share these different types of screenshots, saying Alloy's first outing was Guerrilla Games' first open world game, something which took some time for the studio's lighting team to manage, as it featured locations over a 30+ square kilometer area in a 24-hour light cycle, which by that alone is hard. The scale of the project meant it was extremely hard for the Guerrilla to check every nook and cranny of the world to see if even the lighting functioned correctly. Van Beek wrote, "Indeed, the image posted by the fan showed an area in the original game where Guerrilla's lighting solutions had malfunctioned, whereas why it was different when compared to the game's remake was so striking. When furtherly asked by Guerrilla now has a system in place to check the entirety of the Horizon Zero Dawn's world, via Beek confirmed in the studio now uses something called Autobot, which they're rolling out apparently. It boots the game to make a series of screenshots in thousands of locations at multiple times of day, and they basically had to use 30 plus PlayStation dev kits, but by checking this was still like a human effort having to go through it. So they were actually having a chance to utilize all these developer consoles to go and showcase up the games themselves as a whole. And this is why it's going to be dope, because this is why I'm trying to go push. The idea of like a PS5 Pro, and while it may not be one-to-one, this is what a lot of these companies are utilizing. They're going through these labors of love, say for Alan Wake, and they were going on these individual aspects of like, hey, like we have to go and do this and fine tune this area. We're gonna be launching this one specific room and fine tuning this one specific area, which maybe I'll use a good example for Silent Hill. In theory, Silent Hill is a relatively large game, but there is only like 7 or so map areas. Not to explore the game, I apologize in advance. I should have given a little bit of a heads up for it. But overall, I'm sure you guys know certain games will maybe have bigger subsections. Maybe think God of War Ragnarok. There wasn't as many wide scale areas, but there's like a few open areas and stuff, and you kind of go and explore through it. So you still have to have these people, even in those same 5, 10, 15 or so areas, to fine tune these games, say on the PS5 Pro. And we saw this from the Alan Wake thing, where they would go into individual rooms, individual areas, and fine tune the ray tracing, the lighting effects, and everything else to go make it even better. And this is the perfect example of the labor of love of the PlayStation 5 Pro, saying this was their very first ever open world game. It featured locations over a 30 plus square kilometer area and a 24-hour light cycle. It's extremely hard to check every nook and cranny of the world to see if the lighting functioned correctly. This was a location that was actually malfunctioned. And you guys can kind of go and see this even big comparison. And this is a good example, once again, of what I'm trying to say for the PS5 Pro, is some of the older games that may have an improvement to the PS5 Pro. Think maybe The Last of Us Part 2 might be a good example, because that did come out a few years ago, but it still looks very nice on the PS5, has its own PS5 version, sure. But like that game itself as, say, a PS4 base game can then be integrated into the PS5 Pro and make some of those bigger graphical leaps. Because look at how crazy this is on the original Horizon Zero Dawn, then in comparison to the remaster. This is quite literally the same exact area, and also apparently the same exact time. And I just want everyone to go, and if you guys have been naysayers on, say, like these improvements, remasters, or more so the PS5 additional thing, including things like ray tracing, including things like better lighting effects, the PSSR. This is a very good example with it. Because once again, this may not be a 100% for the PS5 Pro, but it's kind of showing the case because like the developer kit can usually utilize the PS5 Pro, and some of these developer kits may even just be the PS5 Pro itself, because we've had those in hands for a very long time, which is why I'm using the PS5 Pro for this video, like slight clickbait, but not really, but trying to go push the overall point that these are insane improvements. Look at the character models, the individual details on even the random little Tauruses running around. That looks insane compared to the blended, kind of somewhat bleak aspects of this. Look at the water. Look at the leaves. Look at the, like, in the foliage. Like, look at how many more individualized, like, little leaves and little things over here. The grass, the water, you almost feel like you can see the individual strands of the water. Look at the lighting details. Look at the reflections. Look at all of this. Like, this is insane. You look at the water for this in the older versions, which granted, PS4, whatever. It blends together. It doesn't even look nice. This looks shoddy as all heck. The lighting looks cool, sure, but it looks like a completely different time of day. This looks like this is maybe more like 5, 6 p.m., like the sun is setting, moving. You're getting the light through it over, which also is reflecting towards the water. This looks like this is like 8 p.m., about to have the sun set, and you can barely even see the water. Like the water itself doesn't even look into this. Now, once again, like this is getting close to the power of PC, power of the PS5 Pro, and utilizing things like the PSSR, which I had a chance to go and showcase and talk about a lot of this different type of stuff, which I think this is great to go and see. Like, I just see so many major differences. Now, once again, though, this is also factored into the remake, so that may go take away a little bit from the PS5 Pro. I do want to highlight that, but it's crazy just to go and see this on how much more of a big difference these games can go and be. And this is why we like the things like the PSSR, why we like ray tracing, why we like these individual strands and details, because although this is captured more so on, say, like a PC version, this is able to showcase and highlight the power and individuality of all these developers as a whole. And it could probably even be nicer too, because a lot of the PS5 Pro is, in comparison to even PC, even potentially better, depending on how nice your PC is. And of course, the more PSSR is utilized, the better. So it is a little bit, like I said, a little bit on the clickbait side for pushing through like Remake PC or whatever, but this is kind of showcasing up the power and the development work of having things like the PS5 Pro, testing the stuff on out, optimize everything, and letting this run at a 60 FPS and also a 4K resolution. And this is why this stuff is absolutely dope, because once again, this will be released in the 31st, and this will most likely be a very big PS5 Pro game. So it's kind of hard to compare it between the two. And it's not fully out yet for the remake on 2 as well. Like, we still have to wait a little bit for it. But either way, like, it's dope. Like, this is exactly why we want the PS5 Pro. So once again, PS5 to PS5 Pro games are big, yes, but seeing that big jump from PS4 games that could be remade or remastered might make people more incentivized to want to spend that extra $10, a little extra money, to go make these games better, because it does really seem like a night and day difference. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments, all this down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, here for the 69,000 sub goal and for the PS5 Pro giveaway, with all the bonus giveaway links down below. Same with the affiliate links. Appreciate you guys all for watching. Talk to you guys later on throughout today for more videos.